Oh, Sadie, I've been waiting a long time for this. It's the Purrely TMT, so you know it's time for some Sadie stacking. Let's see how we can do this. So this is gonna be material number 1. And then we're gonna put on material number 2. And then we're gonna put on material number 3. And then hold up, this is not working. We're gonna put on material number 4. And whoa. How are we ever gonna compete with a Shizu tier like this? Alright, let's put it back on. Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-minute testing. Alright, let's get the last of these amazing Defenders archetypes out of the way so I can finally move on to Hypernova and reconnect with my problematic boyfriend, Vsauce. Anyway, today we're looking at what Zeus would look like if he was just a cute little guy. Presenting Purrely. So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck just got a huge redesign, but it's still the #1 place to go for a pack simulator, a card database, and a wealth of strategy articles. I personally use the site to post every 10-minute testing list and every Chalice Slime Monthly Top Cut entry. Give it a look at www.ygoprodeck.com. With that, let's peek at Purrely. Purrely is a series of one main deck monster that's equal parts cat, dog, and zodiac. Purrely has memories of life as a stray animal, some happy, some delicious, and one that I'm pretty sure is foreign to most of my viewer base. Each memory is represented by a quick play spell card that applies an effect and then enables you to summon the archetype's namesake monster from the deck. The monster itself can rank up into Xyz themed around its memories, and when you've finished reminiscing, the Xyz monsters can attach the memories to itself as material. Once you're done making your Purrely fat and happy, you can rank it into an X Purrely whose purpose is to end the game in a single, devastating attack. It's a unique, consistent, and most importantly, cute strategy. But cute's the high end of what can be said about the archetype. Eventually, Purrely will get more main deck monsters, but for now, it's essentially a series of cards that do pretty much nothing without access to its singleton cat dog. Add to that the ease with which decks these days play around telegraph strategies like this one, and it's probably worth testing out before you get too invested. If gimmicky OTKs like this with no follow-up were playable, we'd all be on Psychic Blade Lyrilisk. That said, Purrely is cute, so we'll give it a fair shake with the adventures and the Bestials. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, the Bestials, 3 copies of Magnamut and 1 Druis Worm, and then the Adventures because we're not using the effect of our normal summoned monsters. 3 copies of Water Enchantress of the Temple, 1 Wandering Griffin Rider, and then later on down the line, 3 Rite of Aramasir, a Fateful Adventure, and a Dracoback. Outside of that, we are playing 3 copies of Magician's Souls with 2 Illusion of Chaos. It behooves us to put additional copies of the memories into the graveyard to attach to our Puries later. Speaking of, here's Purrely themselves. If this card's normal or special summoned, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you add an excavated Purrely spell trap to your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. Once per turn, you can reveal a Purrely quick play spell in your hand, and if you do, special summon an Xyz monster that mentions it from your extra deck by using this face-up card you control as material, and if you do, attach the revealed card to the summoned monster as an additional material. Here are the quick plays: 3 copies of Purrely Pretty Memory. This card makes each player gain 1,000 life points, then you can discard a card to specially level 1 Purrely monster from your deck, and a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card as material gains the effect that once per turn, you can send another card you control to the graveyard, target a card your opponent controls, and attach it to this card as material. 3 copies of Purrely Delicious Memory. This card makes a monster on the field unable to be destroyed by battle until the end of the turn. Then you can discard a card and special summon a level 1 Purrely from deck, and an Xyz monster that has this as material gains the effect that it gains 300 attack and defense for each material attached to it, important for OTKs. 3 copies of Purrely Happy Memory. This card can apply an effect to a card on the field until the end of the next turn, then discard a card to special summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck, and the effect that it applies is the next time that card would be destroyed by card effect. It is not. Purrely Xyz monster that has this card as material gains the effect that it can attack monsters a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of Purrely Happy Memory attached to it +1. So usually you're going to want to leave your opponent with at least 1 monster in attack position. Finally, we've got 3 copies of Purrely My Friend. You can pay 500 life points to reveal 3 different Purrelys from your deck, and your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand, then you shuffle the rest back. If a face-up Purrely you control leaves the field by an opponent's card, you can add up to 3 Purrely quick play spells with different names from your graveyard to your hand to recoup the loss of the Xyz monsters. Both of those are hard once per turns. Outside of that, we've got 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talents, a Foolish Burial, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and 1 copy of Purrely Leap. This allows you to target a Purrely Xyz you control to special summon from your extra deck one with a different rank from that monster by using it as material, but it returns to the extra deck during the end phase of this turn. It can be banished from the graveyard to target 3 Purrelys in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. In the extra, we've of course got Zeus, then we've got X Purrely Happiness. This card can be ranked up by using a rank 2 monster you control with 5 or more materials, and then during your main phase you can detach a material from this card, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn, and your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to that effect's activation, provided it's got a level 1 Purrely as material. When this card declares an attack and it's got 5 or more materials, your opponent takes 1500. Next, we've got the other X Purrely Noir. This card can be Xyz summoned once again by using a rank 2 monster you control with 5 materials or more, and with 5 or more materials, this card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. You can detach 2 materials from this card to target a card your opponent controls or has in the graveyard and put it on the bottom of the deck, and if you've got a Purrely as material, that is a quick. After that, we've got a Downward Magician, and now it's time for the on-theme Xyz. We've got 1 copy of Happiness. This is the one that references Happy Memory. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you can add a Purrely card from your deck to your hand, and you can also have the attack of a face-up monster on the field. Like the rest of the X Purrys, thrice per turn, you can attach a card on the field to this card as material if it is a Purrely quick play spell card being activated, and then this one allows you to return a spell trap your opponent controls to the hand. X Purrely Beauty can target an effects monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn, which is a quick effect if it has Pretty Memory under it, and thrice per turn it gets to attach a Purrely quick play spell card that's resolving, and you can change the battle position of a monster your opponent controls. And X Purrely Plump, once per turn, allows you to target 2 spell or traps in any graveyard, attach them to this card as material. It's a quick effect if Delicious Memory is material, and then thrice per turn you can attach a resolving quick play spell card to this card, and then banish a monster on the field until the end phase. Outside of that, we've got a copy of Ensemble Robin and a copy of Assembled Nightingale, because we are playing a significant number of level 1s, and we've got a copy of Dark, a copy of Unicorn, and a copy of Access Code Talker as well. On the side, we've got 3 copies of Sphere Mode, a Pancratops, a Change of Heart, triple Lightning Storm, a Mind Con, triple Cosmic Cyclone, and triple Evenly Matched. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Branded Bestial. At least I think it's Branded Bestial. There's no branded in here. I assume they've just drawn a bunch of dragons, and that might be enough because they have also found Rebranded. They're going to go for the effect of the Magnamut, banishing this copy of Lubellion. That'll trigger the effect of the Magnamut on field and the effect of the Rebranded as well. They have the Beast already. They will set 2 and set this copy of Super Polymerization before grabbing a Druis Worm at end phase. In main 1, we're going to activate the effect of My Friend. Our opponent's going to chain Branded Beast to send that to the graveyard. Good that we drew our Purrely. They're going to go for the Regained afterwards in order to bring back the Magnamut and trigger its effect on field. We'll find off the top. Ooh, a Pretty Memory. Nice, nice, nice. They'll activate the effect of the Magnamut on field. We'll activate the effect of our Purrely in order to go into Plump. We'll activate the effect of the Plump in order to attach our resolving copy of Pretty Memory before going for a Purrely from deck. We'll activate the effect of the Purrely once again, and another Pretty Memory. The hits just keep coming. We're going to go for the Happy Memory here, and then attach it to this as material, and then afterwards we're going to activate the effect of the Branded Regained on field to shuffle back this copy of Purrely. We'll activate Plump's effect in order to put the 2 spell traps in our graveyard onto our card, then add 1 more quick play before ranking up into Happiness. We'll go to battle phase and hit for big damage, and our opponent is going to concede. So it's time for game 2, and our opponent is on Bestial Swordsoul. Interesting take on the deck. It's weird that we haven't seen any Swordsoul, despite the fact that it was a huge power player less than 6 months ago. We're going to begin with a Rite of Aramis here and follow it up with a Magician's Souls. We'll grab ourselves a copy of Dracoback, then activate Fateful Adventure to get ourselves a copy of Wandering Griffin Rider, and equip that Dracoback to our token. From here, we're going to activate the effect of the Magician's Souls on field to draw a couple of cards. Oh boy, we'll go for Foolish Burial in order to send a Water Enchantress, then activate the effect for another Rite. We'll activate Pretty Memory here, and then grab ourselves a Purrely from deck. We'll activate the Purrely's effect and find off the top. Oh, thank God. Okay, we did find something. We're going to grab My Friend, then we'll activate Purrely My Friend in order to grab from deck to hand a copy of Delicious Memory. Afterwards, we're going to activate the Delicious Memory, targeting our own token to get another Purrely, and then activating the effect to find... Oh, wow, if we had whiffed any of those, it would have been disastrous. Okay, we're going to go for the Purrely here, and we'll go into X Purrely Beauty, an Ensemble Robin, and then we'll activate Magnamut. Now, we could negate the activation of our opponent's Magnamut, but I don't really want to do that. We get to retain our Magnamut, and we get to fire the Triple Tactics Talents afterwards. Let's take that copy of Longwan. We've put them on 1 monster, which we have a negate for in the Beauty, And then they draw Forbidden Droplet. Okay, we'll activate Beauty. They'll activate Forbidden Droplet, pitching their whole hand. And can one Moye win the game on its own? Probably. We're going to go for Magnamut. In order to banish this copy of Ashana, we'll activate the Magnamut on field. They're going to go for Baxia. Baxia is going to spin my token, and they're going to draw a card into an Ashana. Unfortunate that they found a worm here, because that means later in the turn they can add a long one. They'll go for Ecclesia into Taya. Taya, banish Baxia, get a token and go into Chisao. Chisao effect and Taya effect. They are going to send a Vashutta and grab from deck to hand a long one. Okay, let's get out of this one. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's on what else? A Shizu Tearlament. At this point, I'm actually excited for Kashtira to come out. It'll give us something to play the best of 3 against. Our opponent's going second, so we might be able to do this. We're going to begin with a copy of Water Enchantress, and this is actually one of the weirdest hands. We've drawn a Purrely, but none of the quick plays, which means that the adventure stuff is going to conflict with the Purrely and prevent us from accomplishing anything with it. We're going to equip this Dracoback to our monster before special summoning a Griffin Rider, setting 2, and hoping for the best. Our opponent will draw for turn. Their hand's kind of weird. They're going to begin with a copy of Unicorn, then followed up with a Mudora. They're going to trigger the effect of the Kelbeck in Graveyard. We will Wandering Griffin Rider that, and they are running low on options. They're going to go for the Unicorn. They'll banish a card, then normal summon a copy of Merly, which will eat an infinite impermanence. That's a level 2 monster, so afterwards they can go into a Sprint, activate Sprint to send a Merly, then activate the Merly in Graveyard, which does not contest the Druis Worm in hand. Okay, we have them all out of material. We just have to hope that they don't have a power 1 of that. Okay, alright, well, that's the end of this game. They're going to go for Kitkalos here. Kitkalos is going to grab Rhino Heart, and it's time to do the Yoinky Sploinky. Kitkalos to the graveyard, Rhino Heart to the field. Let's mill 5 and then send whatever we're missing. Unfortunately, they hit everything, including a Sheeran and a Havness and a Sulliek. That's going to grab from deck to hand another Sheeran before activating the effect of the Havness to go into a Kaleido Heart and the Sheeran to go into a Rukalos. They will shuffle our last unknown, go for the Sheeran, and this isn't exactly lethal. I think we live with a couple hundred life points since they didn't shuffle the token here, but I don't really know what we're going to accomplish with it. They'll pass back to us. We draw for turn. That will not do it. We'll go for the Fateful Adventure. We're going to grab from deck to hand a copy of Wandering Griffin Rider and go for the effect, at which point our opponent will Rukalos. Okay, I suppose that is all she wrote. So it's time for game 2, and this is more like it. Okay, we got a couple of quick plays. We're going to begin with my friend. We'll grab from deck to hand a Pretty Memory, then we're going to activate the Pretty Memory, gain 1,000 life points, and summon a Purrely from our deck, pitching a Water Enchantress to the temple, and then activating the Purrely to find off the top. Ooh, some quick plays as well. We'll grab another Pretty before going for the Water Enchantress at the temple and firing off a Rite of Aramasir. We're going to summon a token and equip a Fateful Adventure. We'll go for this Pretty Memory, and then at resolution, I'm going to realize that I turned on Kelbeck. Okay, well, looks like we aren't going to get much from this token or the Wandering Griffin Rider negate. We are going to be able to add this copy of Dracoback, which is something, I suppose, and the Purrely misses. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to go for the Fateful Adventure, pitch the Dracoback, activate Purrely in order to go into Plump. We'll use Plump's effect to equip 2 cards from the graveyard, and then activate Delicious Memory, Plump, while it's resolving in order to banish this copy of Kelbeck until the end of the turn. We'll go for Purrely here, and then find, please, something. Okay, well, my friend is maybe follow-up. We'll go for Ensemble Blue Robin, and then end on Noir. The Kelbeck returns to our opponent's side of the field, and they're going to take their turn. They're going to begin by going to the battle phase. Okay, at least we're not dead this turn. There goes the Ensemble Blue. They're going to go for this effect of Sheeran. They hit Sheeran and Scream, but thankfully we can interrupt the Sheeran with the Noir. They're going to Druis Worm in response. No big deal. No big deal. I still feel okay. They're going to go ahead and grab a Sulliek before normal summoning a Rhino Heart and sending a Havness. We will Noir that as well, down to 1 name still available over the course of the turn. And no, the anti-cheese white woman. Oh, God. Okay, well, we weren't prepared for that. We'll activate the effect of my friend, and of course, they also have an instant fusion in hand. Of course, why wouldn't they? They haven't activated the effect of the Merly yet, so they can do the Yoinky Sploinky, milling 8 here, and if any Merly are hit, it's literally the end of the game. There's one of them, and there's Kelbeck, and of course, there's a trap card as well. This is very frustrating. There's Kaleido Heart. They're going to use the Kaleido Heart effect in order to shuffle my friend, and then afterwards, they can set 1 card. We know they have a Havness and Grip. There's no out for this. We're going to go for the Water Enchantress of the Temple. We'll fire off a Aramasir. That's going to get us a token, right? We'll go for my friend. We'll lose 5 here in order to find, I suppose, a Happy Memory. We'll activate Happy Memory, targeting our token. Then we'll activate Delicious Memory, targeting our token. Then we will concede. So we're back with the deck, and yeah, it's been a while since we had a deck go 1-3. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, it's got a very unique win con. These days, many decks seem to win the exact same way, and this one at least gives you the element of surprise. Thankfully, it's also got a ridiculously powerful interaction to play with. 2, it's flexible, because the quick plays are, well, quick plays. You get some runic-style outplays pretty frequently. And 3, it's funny. He's just a little guy you can fluff around. And the cons. One, it's actually not very consistent. You need to see multiple quick plays in order to get your plays off, which sucks. There's new cards coming in Syac that solve this, but that's nearly 6 months out. 2, on the topic of no new support, no noir means your extension is tied to luck from excavates. That's not exactly where you want to be. 3, there's almost no recovery to speak of. What you do get is slow and negs you. Purrely Leap, for instance, does not draw a card. All in all, listen, champ, I know you want a Purrely, but your mother and I don't think you're ready for the responsibility. Let's start you out on some fish. If you can get him to synchro summon, we'll think about the dog that lets you exease. Thanks so much for watching. A big shouts out to all of my patrons, but specifically Elena Tincher, Alex Dominguez, Alex Perea, Allison Elliott, BB Poison, Big Game Home Video, Brett Henry, Chaotic Meatball, Crispy, Daniel Liu, Dank Magician of Chaos, TJ Elephant, Going Down Swinging, Grant Curry, Indiana Petra, John Piet, Jordan Kuntz, King Magic Ruler, Night Mary, Lilypod, Lockstone, Materiality, MBT Play Madolce, Megalith is Fake Goth, Mike Carlotti, NH6574, Rose Lapine, Sarah Rutledge, Solar Flare, Tolarian 101, Troy says Bi Erasure is Gay, Wave Motion Ganon, and Wonder Waffle. I couldn't have done it without you.